Hey there, friends. It's Laurie. Thanks so much for stopping by. Today I'm making 5 spooky fun Halloween DIYs. I did use mostly Dollar Tree supplies, and I really hope they inspire you to have a happy Halloween. So let's get busy. I'm starting my witch's potion by using 2 of these plastic skeleton hands, and I picked them up at the Dollar Tree. To give them that classic green witch color, I'm using some of my green spray paint. To make them easier to spray, I just clipped the 2 black clips on the ends of the arms. I stuck them in the ground, and then I sprayed them with my paint. To make them look like witch hands, I'm going to add on some of these long fingernails that I picked up at the Dollar Tree. You can always paint them any color you'd like. I didn't have any black nail polish on hand, so I just used some of my black acrylic paint. I painted the bottom first and let them dry, and then I flipped them over and painted the top. Now that they're dry and I think they look really cool, I'm going to use my E6000 and attach them to the hands. Attaching the nails was super easy. I just placed some E6000 on the end of each finger and attached a nail. And if you notice, both of the hands don't have a thumb, so on that smaller finger, I did place one of the larger thumbnails. After my first hand was complete, I just went ahead and added the nails onto the second. The base for my project is a black cauldron, and I know you can sometimes find these at Dollar Tree. I couldn't find them at mine, so I ended up getting one at Target. To build up the center of the cauldron, I'm recycling some of the floral foam from the Dollar Tree. This is just one of those white discs that they have, and I'm also recycling 2 halves of a Sahara foam block. To attach them, I just added some hot glue to the bottom center of the cauldron and then just placed the white disc inside. I then added on some more hot glue and stacked both of the Sahara blocks. Now that I'm done, I have a base for my potion bottle, and I picked this up at the Dollar Tree. It has the word potion on the front and it's plastic. Because it's going to be permanently fixed in place, I don't want to put in a liquid, so I'm going to be using some of this white Dollar Tree sand. I know they sell different colors at the Dollar Tree, but all I could find is white, so I'm going to turn mine a color. I placed it into a measuring cup, and now I'm going to add in some red food dye. I added in about 10 or 11 drops, and then using my fork, I mixed it well into the sand. If you decide you want it to be a little darker, just continue adding in more of the food dye. Now that the sand is the color I want, I just used my funnel and filled up the potion bottle. I'm now adding some hot glue to the top block and placing it in the center of the cauldron. I'm now attaching the witch hands, one on each side of the potion, so that they look like they're holding it. Now that I found their placement, I'm just moving them back and then using my hot glue gun to attach them both in place. To give my cauldron the illusion of smoke, I'm using some polyfill. I'm stuffing some around the base of the cauldron to fill up the empty space. To give the cauldron the appearance that it's glowing, I'm using some of these LED lights from the Dollar Tree. I added in the batteries and placed them on, and now I'm adding them around the inside of the cauldron. Now that I'm done, I'm adding in some more polyfill, and I'm just kind of fluffing it up so that I'm hiding the base and where I attached the hands. As I'm adding it in, you can see how the lights are glowing in the cauldron. As I was adding it, I made sure to tuck it up around the potion bottle to hide any of the base. To give my cauldron some bubbles, I'm using some of these gold plastic Christmas ornaments, and I had picked these up at Michael's. I removed the hanger ends, and I only have 6, so I then attached them with my glue gun around the cauldron. I had these gold ornaments on hand, so that's why I ended up using this color, but you can choose any color you'd like, and you could also use glass ornaments, but I definitely think the plastic is safer. To give my witch a little bling, I'm using 2 of the orange spider rings from the Dollar Tree. I removed the plastic ring, and then using my glue gun, I attached 1 ring to 1 finger on each side. To give my cauldron some creep factor, I'm adding on 3 of these Dollar Tree spiders. They each come on a clip, so I attached 2 onto the polyfill. For my last spider, I removed the clip, added on a little hot glue, and then attached it to the top of the potion bottle. And with that, this spooky witch cauldron is ready for Halloween. If you're new to my channel, please consider clicking on that little red subscribe button below, leaving me a big thumbs up, and to all my returning friends, I'm always so happy to see you. For my haunted beware fence, I'm using 3 of the Dollar Tree wooden pallets. I'm using some clippers that I had on hand, and I'm just clipping away at one end of the pallet. As you're clipping them, if they break or the wood kind of splinters, not to worry because that's exactly the look that you're going for. Now that the end of all 3 of my pallets are kind of chopped up, I'm going to attach them together using some of my Starbond thick glue. I truly love working with this glue because it sets natural wood up in about 2 to 3 minutes. And if you'd like to try it out, I do have the company linked below in my description. I added some of the glue to the sides of my pallets, and then I attached all 3 of them together. Now that it's dry and they're attached together, I'm going to give it a coat of my graphite acrylic paint, and this is basically just a dark gray. This is the color that I chose for my fence, but you can choose any color you'd like. After the front was complete, I then painted the back. With my fence completely dry, I'm now using an old piece of sandpaper, and I'm just kind of sanding up the edges, the top and the bottom. There's definitely no right way or wrong way to do this. You're just kind of scraping off the paint to make the fence look old and rickety. For my fence, I'm using the word beware, and I picked it up at the Dollar Tree in this 3-pack of metal words. I want mine to be orange, so I'm using some of my orange spray paint, but you can always paint it with acrylic paint. Now that it's dry, and because sometimes it's easy for the paint to scrape off the metal lettering, I'm giving mine a coat of Mod Podge. By doing this, it gives the word an extra layer of protection. While that's drying, I'm going to make the spooky accents for the fence, and I'm using 2 of these little wooden ghosts from the Dollar Tree. They have hanger holes in the top, and I need to fill them in, so I'm giving each of them a dot of hot glue. Once it's dry, I'm using a blade to remove the excess hot glue, and then I'm turning both of the ghosts over. The hot glue has slightly seeped through, and so there's a little bump. So all I'm going to do is use my sanding block or use a piece of sanding paper, and I'm just going to sand it down flat. Now that I'm done, I'm giving both of them a coat of white acrylic paint, and I'm painting both sides. To define the edges of my ghost, I'm going to use my pencil. This step is completely optional, but I like the way it gives the ghosts a bit of a smoky accent. When I'm done, I then use my pencil to outline the mouth and the eyes, and then I rub those in as well. For the skeleton accent and my spooky branches, I'm removing them from this Dollar Tree Gothic Rose Bunch. For my jack-o'-lanterns, I'm using 2 of these Dollar Tree pumpkins, and I removed the skewer from the bottom of each. I'm now using my Sharpie, but you can use a paint pen or a paintbrush, and I'm just adding on some of the classic jack-o'-lantern faces. Now that I have all my pieces complete, I'm going to start assembling my fence. I'm first adding on my ghosts, and once I find their placement, I'm then hot gluing them to the fence. To attach my Beware sign, I'm using some E6000, and I just added some to the back and then centered it on the fence. With my sign in place, I'm now attaching on the spooky branches. As an accent for the top of my fence, I'm using one of these Dollar Tree bats. They come on little clips. I just removed it, added some hot glue to the fence, and then attached it. I'm adding on some of this spider web, and I'm just draping it over the fence. To add my spiders to the spider webs, I'm using 2 of the Dollar Tree spider rings, and I just clipped off the back, added some hot glue to the sign, and then just attached them in place. To hold my sign upright, I'm using one of these wooden blocks from the Dollar Tree. And if you don't have any of these, you can always use some tumbling tower blocks or anything you have on hand. To be sure that it's permanently in place, I'm attaching it with my E6000. I pushed the block against the fence, and then I added a line of hot glue along the top to help hold it in place. I then added some hot glue onto the front and added on the 2 jack-o'-lanterns and the skull. I left the block of wood the natural color when I attached it so I wouldn't block out the bottom of the fence. I painted the exposed block with my same graphite gray acrylic paint. And with that, this spooky sign is ready for Halloween. This is one of the cutest and quickest DIYs I think I've ever made. And I'm starting with one of the Dollar Tree's large black spiders. You'll also need one of the plastic garden dishes, and I picked that up at the Dollar Tree as well. I removed the labels and they come off super quick using your hairdryer. I'm attaching the 2 pieces together using my E6000. I placed some on the back of the spider and then on the tops of all 8 legs. With the glue in place, I just centered the garden dish on the top of the spider. I let it set up overnight, then added in some snacks and some of the Dollar Tree eyeballs. This was so quick and easy to make, and it's the perfect addition to the spooky season. I'm starting my DIY by using one of the wooden cutouts from the Dollar Tree. Using my pencil, I'm marking off 3 2.5-inch sections. I removed the jute hanger and I'm turning my pumpkin into a candy corn, so I'm using some of my yellow, orange, and white acrylic paint. I'm starting on the bottom and I'm painting it yellow. I want to have straight lines between my colors, so I'm using 2 of the Dollar Tree wooden skewers and I'm painting one yellow and one orange. This step is completely optional. You can always just paint your lines straight. Once that's complete, I'm moving on to my middle section and I'm painting that orange. I then finished off the top section with my white. I then used some green acrylic paint and I finished up painting the pumpkin stem. To define the lines between my pumpkin, I'm using the 2 skewers that I painted, measuring them against the colors and then cutting them to size. With my skewers cut, I'm now using my E6000, adding some on and then attaching them to the pumpkin. For the center of my pumpkin, I'm using one of the Dollar Tree wooden home signs, and I'm using some of my black acrylic paint, and I'm giving it a coat. With my home sign dry, I'm using a piece of sandpaper, and I'm just going to distress it around the outside edges and in the middle of the letters. Distressing the word is completely optional, and if you prefer to have a solid color, just skip this step. Now that I'm done, I'm using my E6000 and attaching it to the center of the pumpkin. I'm hanging my pumpkin in an enclosed porch, so I'm giving it a coat of Mod Podge to help protect the finish. Now that it's dry, I'm adding on a very simple bow to my pumpkin. I'm using some of the Dollar Tree farmhouse ribbon along with some of their Halloween ribbon. I'm using both ribbons, giving myself about a 3-inch tail, and then I just made a simple bow out of each. When my bow was complete, I then trimmed off the tails at an angle. I'm attaching the 2 bows together by placing some hot glue on the center of the farmhouse and then attaching the Halloween bow. Then, to give my double bow a more finished look, I cut a short piece of the Halloween ribbon and hot glued it around the center. And now that I'm done, it's as easy as hot gluing it to the stem. I'm adding on a creepy accent, and I'm using one of these wooden spider stickers from the Dollar Tree. I used my glue gun and attached it to the bottom corner of the pumpkin. For the hanger, I'm using some orange ribbon that I had on hand, and I just cut the end into a point. I slipped the ends into the hanger holes and just tied a knot in the back. And now that I'm done, this candy corn home pumpkin is ready to hang. For my Happy Halloween candle, I'm using a glass jar that I had on hand They do sell similar ones at the Dollar Tree, and the outside of mine is smooth. It measures 4.5 inches, and I'm going to spray the insides with my orange spray paint. But before I do, I'm using my masking tape and I'm taping off the top rim of the jar. I'm completely out of painter's tape, so I'm hoping that this will pretty much contain any of the overspray. With the tape in place, I'm now heading outside to spray the inside of my jar. And now all I need to do is remove the tape from the top. There is a little bit of overspray, not too much, and I'm just going to use my blade and scrape it off and then just wipe it off with a napkin. To add my Happy Halloween sticker to the front of my candle holder, I'm using one of these super cute rub-on transfer stickers from the Dollar Tree. I removed the sticker backing, placed it against my jar, and then I just used a regular old craft stick to rub it in place. It's pretty sticky, so it does peel right off. With my sticker in place, I'm now using some of the Dollar Tree Halloween ribbon, and I'm wrapping it around the top of my candle holder. I'm cutting the ribbon to size, and then using my hot glue gun, I'm attaching it around the top. I'm using the same Halloween ribbon and giving myself about a 2-inch tail, and then I'm making a simple bow. When I'm done, I then cut both of the tails off at an angle. I then used my glue gun to attach it to the center of my candle holder. To give my candle holder a little bling, I'm using one of these Dollar Tree purple spider rings, and all I did was clip off the ring pot on the back. I then used my glue gun and attached it in the middle of the bow. And now that I'm done, all that's left to do is add in one of the Dollar Tree LED spooky candles. I turned it on and added it into my candle holder. And with that, this Happy Halloween DIY is complete. Well, here we are at the end of the video, and I really hope you enjoyed making these Halloween DIYs with me. If you're new to my channel and you're thinking, hey, I'd like to come back and hang out with her again, don't forget to click that little red subscribe button below. I hope you have a wonderful day and a happy Halloween, and I will see you soon. Bye, everybody!